right, so born in Kenya, Cedric Nzaka started his career with little to no equipment, but had a vision to document African people in a way that has never been done before. Fast forward a few years later, he has become one of the most sought-after photographers in South Africa, capturing a diverse selection of local and international celebrities like Davido, Ross and Zozibini Tunzi, as well as spending some time on his passion project, which has resulted in his coffee table book, Everyday People's Stories. Earlier on the week, he opened his solo exhibition at the BKHZ in Rosebank, of course showcasing his exceptional curated works. This morning, he joins us bright and early to chat further about his latest offering. Cedric, on that note, good morning. Thank you for joining us at this hour.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for
Congrats on all of this. I know that it's about agency and having the world story complete with Africa's version. The first time you picked up that camera, though, looked through the lens and something clicked. What was that moment for you? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it was like childhood days. You know, when you have like a family outing and Mom asks all of you guys to join to take that photo before you step out. Then I was barely in our childhood photos because I was the one who always asked to take the photo. And I think it just stemmed from there. And years later, I decided to just turn it into a passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, fast forward to the intention behind the stories that you tell and the reason. I mean, it's about agency, African agency. When did that consciousness take over for you? How do you translate that through your work?
I think for me, it comes from where I was born and raised, which is Nairobi. And the amount of times I saw tourists come to visit where I was from, and obviously they had the idea of how we live and how they should package us for the world outside. Yes. I think that's where the agency came from, for people to see my world through my lens and understand that there's more beauty to it than what they are forced to see. And that's where everything rooted from.
It's also important perhaps to assemble them, right? Because sometimes we've got so many images, having to sift through everything. And this is how your coffee book table would have also come about. So what would have gone into that creative process? And then really, what's the messaging behind that for you?
The messaging behind that for me, it's literally everyday people's stories. Like capturing strangers from time to time, from different demographics, from different walks of life. And being able to see a smile come out of a Maasai lady in the Mara, you understand? And seeing another smile come from a stranger I just met in Sierra Leone. And seeing the need to actually walk into a hotel room and sit at the reception and go through a book that everybody looks like you. You can understand how far that goes. Or you going through a book and you're like, I recognize this lady. We were in class together, or we were in university together, you understand? Yes. The build-up came from that, is the understanding that if I don't do it, if I don't speak, if I don't highlight what makes us beautiful, nobody else will do it better than me. Somebody who looks like them.
Representation and inclusivity.
Representation was one of the biggest things that allowed me to come up with Everyday People's Stories. Yeah.
And I guess you can dream big when you can see people who look like you encompassing and taking up space in that sense. I wonder, though, in terms of you as an artist having grown as well. I mean, it's for people who don't have that skill, it's one thing to look at something, it's another to make it a piece of art. So what goes into that? How have you evolved over the years as well, overcoming your own inertia?
I think over time, with collaboration and partnership and team, you'd be so shocked how much can go into building the world, like the word excellence as a whole. Over time, I realized that you cannot do everything alone. Sometimes, as easy as your vision might be, you need a partner or a team to kind of help you build that, bring that vision to life. And for me, having like a proper backing behind you, you spend the time doing the creative process and somebody else is actually building, you understand, the set and making sure it looks exactly how you envision it. That goes a long way, because then you don't strain your mind on the nitty-gritty. You more focus on how the final product should look. And for me, Everyday People's Stories is all about people. It's all about collaboration. It's all about partnership. It's all about team. And with all that is when you get excellence out of it. Yeah.
That's how the magic happens.
Yes.
And we're stronger together, right? You go further when you go together.
Yes.
Your BKHZ exhibition in Rosebank as well, what would have gone into that? And what's the offer for people who want to experience you?
For my BKHZ exhibition in Rosebank, first it came from a partnership with Remy Martin and them just highlighting that it's been a decade of me actually taking photography. And in a decade, I've never done an exhibition. I have tons of drives with images from 10 years ago to present day. And I think just finding a brand partner that understands storytelling and also is more focused on amplifying you more than anything means everything to me. So I have a collection of images that shows this little bit of the world, make it look bigger. But you can imagine for me to be able to package it into a coffee table book, that's a lot of work, and
Absolutely.
images too. But now you can imagine me never actually doing an exhibition in the first place. So with great partnership allowed me the opportunity to actually curate what is now known as a decade of everyday people stories, which is what we see at BKHZ. And obviously with team is what allowed it to excel so well when we did the launch on Thursday. And that was my favorite thing to witness. It was more on the side of honoring everybody who's been part of the journey for 10 years. 10 years to have skin in the game for 10 years is quite a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And those are the unsung heroes in your life that you pay homage to.
Yes.
Fast forward 10 years, we're excited to see where you're going to end up. But thank you for your time at this hour,
Thank
for
you for
sharing
having
of
me.
the gift that's within you.
Thank you for having me.
Cedric Nzaka, of course, sharing that story is Journey Photography, the birth of what is now known as Everyday People's Stories. 10 years in the making, and we cannot wait to see what else is next. We're going to leave that conversation then.